We're live. We are live. We just had a little hiccup there where we thought we were going live and then LinkedIn, there was a problem. I've never had that before. So we're going live on LinkedIn and we're here today to poor Tina. She's been messed around and we've changed links and everything, but she's here. That's the most important thing. And we're going to be talking today all about why your team is critical to business growth and all about the power of your team. And Tina is a kind of an expert in that area. We have done some work together in the past. And so I wanted to get Tina on today to talk about this really important topic. Tina, it's great to have you. Do introduce yourself.
Thank you, Emmy. So good to be here finally. So yeah, I'm Tina Jennings. I'm a change and transformation expert. I've worked with businesses over the last 25 years in change and transformation, whether that be integrating acquired businesses, restructuring organisations for stripping out costs, refocusing businesses on growth. You name it. If it's change related, I have probably been there. And I currently work with small to medium sized businesses, helping them improve their costs, efficiency, performance, or culture. Could be one of those, could be all of those. It just depends what their change challenge is.
Quite a lot of different things that you can help them with. And so today we're going to be really talking about the team, aren't we? The power of people, which is so important.
Yes.
And I think whatever stage your business you're at, the team is critical to growth. I know, especially in the work that I do with seed funded founders, they're sort of at that stage where they're starting to grow a team. And that can be really difficult to sort of make sure you're getting the right people on board from the beginning. But I wanted to talk to you and to ask you, a couple of questions. So how can we unlock the power of our teams as we scale our businesses? What are the things that we can do? Presumably that's something that you're kind of helping your clients with.
Yeah, always. I mean, people make or break a business at the end of the day. So I always say there's kind of three critical ingredients to that. It's you, the founder, the people around you, and the business itself. So if you look at, as a founder, you need to be really, really clear in terms of your purpose, your vision, what you're there to do, where you thrive, your strengths, who you want to be, what is the mission. But then you need to kind of really understand that in order for you to optimize who you're going to be working with, actually selecting those people that are going to support and actually elevate what you want to do. And so then it's about really understanding the people individually. Yes, they might be a team, but actually, what are the strengths? What are the aspirations of those people? How do you really use those chess pieces on a board to actually cross fertilize, actually build your strength? It's about knowing those people and co-creating with those people. So the more you can get those people connected to your purpose, the more you can actually, share the load. Having ownership and accountability across your team is where you're going to really unlock the power of and potential. Empower those people to do the doing. And I say your business is the third element, because operationally, how you're designed, the core processes, the technology, the capability, your communication flow, those kind of things that I refer to in my health check. Are you set up in order for all of those resources to be optimally performing? What is standing in the way of them being at their best, essentially?
I love the way you use the chessboard analogy. I always think I really like playing chess. I'm not very good at it, but I really like playing it. And then suddenly, what was that? The Queen's Gambit came out, and suddenly everyone was like playing chess, and it's amazing. But I often think it is like, playing chess is kind of like running a business. You're masterminding all these different things, and you've got sort of got the competition to think about, but you're also just trying to think about moving yourself forward. But then you've got all these other things going on, and there's definitely like strategy, skill, expertise, and some kind of luck going on. But yeah, so what I was going to say is, from what you said there, it seems really important that your business is very clear on its purpose, its mission, its vision, its values, because if you don't have clarity on that, then it's going to be difficult to empower your team to deliver on that. And I think that's not something that every business has got or has had a chance to do, that piece of work. Do you find that? Is that something that you're helping them with? Or when you get to them, have they already got clarity on their mission, vision, values, and where they want to get to?
It's a real mixture, but the businesses that move quickly and have the agility to drive growth at pace are the ones that are crystal clear on their purpose. They know where they want to go. They know what they want to cultivate in terms of the values, the behaviours that they want to see in the people around them. And that is always at the forefront of their mind. So I would say that, my experience is the businesses that are really crystal clear on their purpose, their values, their strategy are the ones that are going to, lead and perform at their best, because then it's easy, because then you're just aligning your players to what you need to get done. I help the businesses to actually, they kind of have an idea, but then when you get laser sharp, everything else becomes so much easier, because you can actually, once you're clear in terms of your vision, your strategy, your goals, priorities, then it's just a case of making sure that you've got the right people in the right place at the right time to actually deliver it.
So you're helping them, if they haven't already done that piece of work, to do that piece of work, and then the step on, which basically is making sure that you've got the right people in the right place doing the work that they're happy with. I mean, I think that's really important. We talked when we were catching up about people have to be happy and thriving, because, and I read this in one of the Harvard Business Review articles. It was just like, if your team are happy, they're going to work harder, they're less likely to leave, they're more likely to deliver on the values. It's going to be much more profitable. So how do we ensure that the people that work for us are happy and thriving? What are the tips or the insights that you're sharing with your clients on that topic?
Yeah, I always say, it sounds really simple, but ask them. And I'm not talking engagement surveys. I'm actually talking human conversation with each individual in your business, and really understanding what's working for them, what's not working, what their aspirations are, and actually how do you leverage those innate talents and strengths that they have. Because unless you actually have that really great conversation, how do you know what potential you have to play with? So those one-to-one conversations are essential. I think creating a really open and transparent organisation is fundamental, because you want people to be proactive in problem solution. You want people to feel safe and to have the trust to do the right thing for your business. So that whole building that psychological safety is really important. And the only way you do that is through having great conversations where people feel supported. And the more you can do that, as you say, the return on investment is huge for you as a business, because actually people start to think of your business as their business.
Exactly. And also, when someone hands their notice in, they're inevitably not working. They've lost caring for that last month or 2 months or whatever. You then got to go to the hassle and stress and cost of hiring someone else, which, to be quite honest, can be really sort of challenging and take up a huge amount of time. Then you've got the recruitment fees, and then you've got to get them settled in. So it's kind of like a 6-month upset, isn't it? When someone leaves, it's a 6-month thing, and the cost on that must be huge. And so it just amazes me, why some businesses, because I know, because I've worked for a few businesses, my husband's worked for a few, but I know people who work for businesses. Some are absolutely amazing at looking after their team and their staff, and they bend over backwards, and they're so caring, and they genuinely do care. And then there's some that just don't seem to.
No, I know, but that who's gonna win? Because at the end of the day, people have got choices of where they work and how they work, especially now in the virtual world. This hybrid working has opened up a whole new host of things for employees to take advantage of. So I think that, how do you make sure that your people are thriving and are happy? It's asking them, it's creating that culture where it's vibrant, but it's also dealing with issues head on. as soon as they come up. You know, when you've got a performance issue, whatever it may be, and that's where the open, transparent culture is fantastic, because you're actually dealing with issues in real time and people feel confident to bring the issues to the forefront. You know, they challenge the status quo, they challenge things that aren't working for your business. And that's ultimately what you want to do. Because once you do that, you know, I'm a real believer that the more kind of trust and empowerment you give to people, the more they want to give to you. You know, people are interested in having an impact and performing well. You know, I don't think anyone comes to work thinking, I'm going to really have, you know, be unproductive today.
It's much more fun anyway if you're working. You know, it's much more fun if you're productive and you're doing stuff and you feel like you're making a difference. And actually, like, we found that when we hired people, I would try and give them as much responsibility as I could that they wanted, because inevitably I'm thinking, like, I want to help them get further on in their career and be challenged and do the things that they enjoy, because essentially if you don't do that, they're going to leave as well.
Exactly.
And we want people to be happy and having a good time.
And the other thing is, we've talked about it before, but it actually, when people are in flow, when they are thriving in a business, typically they're actually leveraging their strengths. You know, when somebody is actually doing something that they're good at and they enjoy doing, and they've got a natural kind of proclivity towards that, that's when you really get the energy. And that's what you want, you know, because we all have different strokes for different folks. What I love to do, you probably don't. But knowing that as a founder is critically important, because then, as we said, you can play the pieces of the chessboard.
So how do you suggest people do that? Is it like doing, you know, like a SWOT for yourself internally, or is it are you using, because, you know, I love a SWOT and I do it on myself quite a lot and I do it with all my clients, but or are you using some of these like profiling systems where you like profile people and then people are clear on their strengths and weaknesses? Or is it just reaching out to people and saying, you know, what do you like doing, what are you really good at, and let's do more of that?
It's all three of those. I love a SWOT too, as you know.
We love
SWOT's
a SWOT,
great.
yeah.
It's really easy. You can do it on yourself, you can do it on your team, you can do it on your business. It's a real-time document that you can, you know, engage in great conversation about. So SWOT's great. Profiling tools, yeah, I'm a GCologist. I haven't talked to you about that, Emmy, but basically that means there's a tool by the GC Index that actually measures people's innate strengths, their innate proclivities. And actually in change and transformation, you're able to identify where people can actually flow, where they can be at their best, whether they're a game changer, a strategist, an implementer, a polisher, or a playmaker. Knowing that is powerful insight to how you leverage your people and get the most out of them. Because when people are in flow and in their energy space, they are high performing.
Cool. Yeah, I saw that post on LinkedIn. I didn't realize that was, I'd love to know what I am. I think I'm a bit of a, I don't know. We'll have to do that another time. So we're also thinking around how can you connect your business performance with your team, sort of to optimize performance. So we sort of talked about that a bit, didn't we? But have you got any more thoughts around that? Like really connecting those two things. So is that just about as a business and as a founder being really clear on your purpose, and then making sure that everyone who's working for you is really clear on it, and that everyone's aligned with the goals and the strategy and the objectives for the business?
Yeah, essentially. I mean, I think with that one, it's your purpose and your values are kind of the cornerstone. And the more you can hire people right from the get-go that are aligned to those things, you know, technical skills can be developed and taught. Those innate kind of values are a whole other matter. So definitely recruitment and recruiting against the purpose and the values, number one. I think it's then constantly talking about the purpose and actually helping people understand how their individual role has impact. So, you know, we talked about ownership and accountability. It's everything I do every day should connect to driving that purpose forward, or driving that vision forward, or that strategy forward. And if I'm not doing that, why am I doing what I'm doing? So constantly talking about it, celebrating the successes, really, using behaviour breeds behaviour. So the more you actually connect the dots for people and make it really easy, this is the purpose, this is what we've achieved, this is the impact. It starts to become a natural connection for people.
That makes loads of sense. I think like when we were running our agency, I just hired on, like you said, like values, and if they were using their initiative, and if they turned up really prepared to the interview, and if they seemed like a genuine person, and if they were interested and they seemed to be hardworking, and they were just genuinely interested in what we're doing. And I kind of think like we hired people out of university who had amazing degrees but no experience, and it didn't take long to train them at all, as long as you feel like they're a good fit and they're aligned with your values. I think that's so important. But then you do, but how does that work also? Because obviously we want diversity in a business as well. So are we saying diversity but everyone aligned to the same values?
I think the purpose is the critical thing. So are all of the people in your business there because they believe in what you're there to do, and to the impact you want to have on the world? Are they all on the bus with that one? I think the diversity comes in, every single human being is different. And so when you, again, really understand who you've got working for you, you will be amazed at what you don't know about a human being that works for you, unless you really get to know them in their whole 360 technicolor. So I think the diversity, you've got to be conscious about that, of course, but I think that naturally comes when you are curious and open-minded about taking risks on people as well. I think if those core values and that purpose is aligned, welcome it with open arms, because actually you can grow the rest. I really believe that. And if you need the technical expertise, of course, that's, we need technical expertise to run our business, but you can actually, you don't have to bring them in permanently. You could bring in experts. Yeah, you can buy it in permanently or on a contingent basis, especially in today's gig economy, where people don't necessarily want to be a permanent employee, perhaps. So I think that's where you can, you get creative with the resources that you can bring in.
Cool. I mean, it all makes loads of sense. So when you're saying about getting to really know people internally so that you can really understand like what drives them and their strengths, and you were saying you'd be amazed about how much you don't know about people, like how do you go about doing that? Is it just showing up and having more conversations and being more open and just saying, come and have a chat with me, come and have a coffee? What is it? What are you doing to like better understand these people and build deeper relationships with them?
Yeah, I think it's definitely the one-to-one, the coffees, the catch-ups, the informal conversation, the water cooler, typical kind of, although, you might not bump into somebody in a corridor anytime soon, but that's really important, actually having just not business-related conversation. It's the co-creation that I talked about is fundamental as well, because actually giving people the opportunity to showcase, having some ownership and accountability for something that may not actually be in their sweet spot can actually really uncover a whole host of a new way of looking at things. So I think it's, getting to know people, understanding what their aspirations are, and taking some risks in terms of what the work that you give to people. So many times in my experience, you see that, oh no, they won't like that. They won't want to do that. And actually, when you have the conversation and you give them the opportunity, they fly.
Amazing. And it's so important as an employee, isn't it, to be given opportunities to do things and to love what you do, because you're doing it all day, every day. And like, honestly, like if you've got a boss that makes you unhappy, it's like the worst thing ever. And if you don't feel aligned with your job, if you don't feel aligned with the purpose, I mean, I've worked in a business before and it was just awful. Like it just made me feel awful, and you don't even want to get out of bed in the morning, do you?
No,
It's awful.
It's exhausting. Yeah.
Well, Tina, that's so amazing. Such great insight, such valuable insight, because a team is critical to growth. It's super important that we look after our team, we genuinely care for them. And also, I think that we're looking at opportunities for them. You know, how can we help them grow, and how can we help them do more of the things that they like? Because that's kind of like good for everyone, isn't it? So thanks so much for coming on today. I'd like to keep these short and sweet. I normally finish them dot on 20 minutes and we're pretty much there. So that's good. And I'll see you very soon.
Thank you, Emmy. It's been great. Thank you.